Okay, so in this video, we are going to solve a LeetCode problem, jump game. So this is the problem which we are trying to solve. So let us understand the problem statement. So in this problem, you are given an integer array nums. So this is the integer array which is given to us. You are initially positioned at the array's in first index. So right now I'm at the starting index, which is 0. This is the 0th index. There I am. And each element in the array represent your maximum jump length at that position. So from index 0, how much jump, what is the maximum jump I can make, is something which is represented by the element, the value of the element at the given index. So in this case, the index is 0 and the value at that index is 2. So at max, I can make a jump of 2. What does it mean? Is basically I can from 0 I can go till 2, or from 0 I can also go till 1. So 0 to 1 is one transition which is possible, and 0 to 2 is another transition that is possible. So given these conditions, we need to return true if you can reach the last index. So starting from 0th index, if by making such jumps, if it is possible for us to reach the last index, then we need to return true. Otherwise, we have to return false. So that is about the problem statement. Let us try to understand the problem statement with the help of an example. So we will take the same example, which is 2, 3, 1, 1, 4. So let me take it. Just a minute. Yep. Okay. So alrighty, let's begin. Okay. So in our case, the example was 2, 3, 1, 1, and 4. So given this num array, is it possible for me to start from 0th index and reach last index? I'm sorry about that. Let me just get rid of it. Yep, last index. So the last index is 4 here. Now let's see if whether it is possible. Now I am starting with index 0. Let me write down the indexes as well. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So I'm starting with 0th index, and what is the value which is there at this index? So the value is 2. So what does it mean? It means I can make 2 jumps. What are those 2 jumps? Right, so let me just first draw it. So this is jump 1 and this will be my jump 2. Let's see what are these 2 jumps. So okay, so this is like if I'm making 1 jump, and this is like when I'm making 2 jumps, since the value is 2, right? So 0 plus 1 is 1, so I'll come to index 1 here, and in this case 0 plus 2 is index 2, so I'll reach index 2 here. Okay. Now, once I am at index 1 and 2, what are the values which is there? So the value of index 1 is what? 3, and the value of index 2 is 1. Okay. So now let us see, from here I can make 3 jumps. So the one jump would be, let me just write it down, is when I make plus 3. The other will be when I'll make plus 2. And the other one would be when I'll make plus 1. Okay. So we don't have to explore all the jumps, but let us see what will happen if we make a jump of 3. When we make a jump of 3, so we'll reach the destination, the last index, which is 4. So if we traverse this path, this is the path I'm talking about. So if we traverse this path, we are able to reach the last index. And since we are able to reach the last index, so our function should return true here. Okay. So this is one example. Now let us take another example wherein we will not be able to reach the final destination. So in this case, The other example is, let me write it down. The other example is 3, 2, 1, 0 and 4. So is it possible for us to reach the final index starting from index 0? In this case, let us try the same thing again. So we are at index 0. The value is 3 here. So which means I can make 3 jumps, which is plus 1. The second is plus 2. And the last one being plus 3. Okay. So if I make here, I'll get to 1th index. If I plus 2, I'll get to 2nd index. And if in case plus 3, I'll get to 3rd index. Now what are the values? The value at index, okay, let me write down the indexes as well. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the value of first index is 2. The value of second index is 1. And the third index is 0. So from 3 we will not be able to go anywhere. So this will be it for 3. From 1, if I add 2, I'll be able to reach 3, right? Plus 2. And if I do a plus 1, I'll be able to reach 2. And from 2, if I do a plus 1, I'll be able to reach 3. But in none of the scenarios, I am able to reach 4. So we are not able to reach, to reach 4, which is our last index. So we are not able to reach our last index. Hence, our function should return false here. Okay. I hope the problem statement is clear. And once the problem statement is clear, let us try to find out a solution for it, an efficient solution for it. So let's take this example, which is 2, 3, 1, 1, 4, and let us discuss our approach to solve this problem. So the example was 2, 3, 1, 1 and 4. Okay. And the indexes being 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. For understanding, let us assume that we have another array. Okay. And what does this array represent? This represents, this basically represents, is it possible for us to reach index in last index, just a second, to reach last index from, just a minute, from ith index. So given any index, let's say we are at index, let's say this, is it possible to reach to the last index or not, is something which will be represented by the value of this array. And let's say the values are true and false. True being, we will be able to reach the final index from ith index, and false being, it is not possible to reach the final index from the ith index. And for the solution, let's work backwards from here. So from the end we will start. Since we are at end and we want to reach end, so the value over here will be true. That yes, from 4th I'll be able to reach the 4th index, the last index. Now let us see, and then we will decrement our counter and we will see. So now we are at index 3. We will check, is it possible for us to reach final index from the 3rd index. Okay. So the way it goes is, so from let's see, let's call this array as A. So from A, I, the way it goes is if, now see, it will be false if nums, and let's see, this array is num, this array is A, and this array is nums. Okay, and I'll rewrite it over here so that we have sufficient space. So let me just go a little bit down and write it for you. So now let me just, okay, all right, we will come to that that portion again. So A of I we want to see, and since we are starting from n and we are decrementing the values of n, so all the way till 0 we have to go. So the loop will be from I equals to n or n minus 1 till 0. So AI is equals to false if AI, sorry, if not AI, if nums. So the nums is the array which contains jumps. Okay, nums I equals to 0, right? If you cannot make nums I equals to 0, simply means you will not be able to make any jump. Since I am not able to make any jump, so the value will be false. Okay, now let us see true. The value will be true, and this will be true in two conditions. So the first condition is if nums I plus I is greater than or equals to last index. Okay, right? If so, what do we mean by this is that is basically, if I have to represent it conceptually, so what I mean is that, let's say this is my last index, and these are various other indexes, and this is my ith index. So right now I am at here, and this is my last index, and let's say this has some value j. Okay, and the last index is basically at n, right? So right now I am at ith index, right? Ith index, and if I want to get to the last index, so basically I need to add n minus I over here, right? So let us say n equals to 10, and right now I am at I equals to 5. So right now I am at 5th index. So if I add 5 to it, then I'll be able to reach, so 5 to it, then I'll be able to reach the last index in this case. Now if j, I plus j, so the j is the value at index I, if I plus j is greater than or equals to 10 or basically n, let me write it down, n, then by one jump we will be able to reach the last index, and hence the value will be true. So that is why we are saying that if nums of I plus I am at ith index, and I at ith index, nums I represent the maximum jump I can make, and by doing the maximum jump I'm able to at least reach the last position, then we will call okay, we'll be able to reach the final position, and hence the value will be true. Okay, so that is one. The second condition, okay, I don't have this space, so I'll write down the second condition little bit below. So the second condition here, I'll write it down over here. So the second condition is something like this. Okay, now the second condition, so this is my nth, and there are various values, and right now I'm at ith. So being at ith, I know the values over here, right? Because we are moving backwards. So this could be either true or false, this could be either true or false, This could be either true or false. This is nums array. This is a array. Okay, and this is true for sure. So when I am here, I'll see what is the value of j. So let's say nums I equals to j. If nums I equals to j, then I'll check the j windows here. Okay, this is, let's say, this is the window length. So I'll check the j element. So I'll check, so from I plus 1 to, and this is inclusive, I plus 1 to, let me write it down, I plus nums of I. Okay, if any of these, so if any of these element is true, then we will be able to make the jump. Able to make the jump. Okay, let me explain it. What do I mean by this? Or let me rewrite this so that we understand it. What do I mean by this? So first was, we are given AI, okay, and we wanted to see what were the elements. So the first one was false. If false, if nums of I equals to 0. It is true if I plus nums of I is greater than or equals to n. Okay, n minus 1, because n, like, since our arrays start from 0, so that is why the last element is at n minus 1. It is also true if a I plus 1 to a I plus 1 till, I'm so sorry, it is also, let me rewrite this, if any element between a I plus 1 till ai plus nums I, okay, is true. If any of these element is true, then ai is true. So from ai plus 1, if any of the element till this value, if any of the element is true, then it is true. And if none of these conditions are satisfied, then it is false. Okay, let us work with an example in order to understand this. Okay, let us take an example. So let us take the same example, which was 23114. Okay, so let me take the same example. Okay, so let's see, 2, 3, 1, 1 and 4. All right, so this is our array nums and this is our array I, and these are the indexes 3 and 4. Okay, So we start from last. So this is true, right? Since this is the last index, and from last index it is possible to reach the last index, so it is true. Now here, let's check here. So here also, like from here, I'll make a jump of 1. So if you look at this formula, so here, so in this particular case, at third index, this is what is being satisfied. So if we make I plus 1, I plus nums of I, so I is at third index, and nums of I is 1. So if I make this jump, I'll be able to, so this becomes 4, and 4 is greater than or equals to 4, right? So we want to reach fourth index, and 3 plus 1 will give you 4. So that is why this is true. Now let us look at here. Now here, from here, the first two indexes will, the first two conditions will not be satisfied. So if nums of I is not 0, so this is not satisfied. And also we are at index 2, and the max jump we can make is 1, right? So 2 plus 1 is 3, but 3 is not greater than or equals to 4, so will not be, so this condition is not satisfied. Now what we need to see is that we need to check this particular range. So what is this range? A equals to I plus 1. So the I plus 1 is what? 3 till A is what? I is 3, nums of I is again 1. So we have to check basically A3 to A3, which is A3. So we need to check A3, and A3 has true. So this will be satisfied, and this is also true. From here again, working with the same formula which we have, we see that if I make a jump of 3 from 1, I'll be able to reach the final position. That is why this is true. Similarly, from 2, if you see, so from 2 I can make a jump of 1, or I can make a jump of 2. So from 2 I can reach either 3 or I can reach 4. I'm so sorry. So let me just delete this. So we are at index 0. So from 0 I can make a jump of plus 1, or from here I can make a jump of plus 2. So from so if you see here, so the first two conditions are not satisfied. This is clearly not, and I plus num I is not greater than or equals to n minus 1. So if you see, I is 0 plus num of I is 2 is not greater than or equals to 4, because 2 is not greater than or equals to 4. That is why the second condition is not satisfied. But how about the third condition? Third condition says that you see the range of ai plus 1 to ai plus num minus I. Sorry, num psi ai. You need to check the range of ai plus nums of I. You need to check this range. So our I is 0. So I plus 1, that was, yeah. So we need to check A1 till A of 0 plus num psi. Num psi is what? 2. Okay. So we need to check the range of A1s to A2 and see if any of the values are true. So the first value is itself true. That is why this is also possible. And then in such cases, we can return A0. Okay. We can return A0, and this will be our answer. Alright. So that is how, I hope the solution makes sense, and we will further go ahead and try to optimize it. Let me write a code for this. So our function which we need to write is basically def can jump, and what we are given here is basically, since it's a class, or let me just write a function simply. So we are given a nums array. So what we can do is we can take an array and we can set all the values to false. false for, let's say, I in range len of nums, isn't it? So I'm just initializing my array A with all the elements false. So I have initialized all the elements to false, and I'll set my index to len of nums -1. I'll set it, and then what I can do is that while index is greater than or equals to 0, I can loop till then. What I need to see here is basically if nums of index, I need to write down it as index equals to 0, then A of index, since the jump you can make from A index is 0, so this is our first condition, so we need to set it to false, our first condition here. Let me go through it, this, and elif, let us write down the second condition. Elif, let me scroll a little bit down. Elif I plus nums of, not I, I'm so sorry, this is index I have used, index plus nums of index, if this particular sum is greater than or equals to len of nums -1. If this condition is satisfied, then we are able to make a jump, and because of which A of index is true. Okay, else what will happen? We will check the range, right? So we need to start from for I in range, and the range is basically index +1 till how much? Till index plus nums of index. Okay, nums of index, and let me write it down +1 because of the range function, and that should be it. If AI equals to true, then A index is true, and we don't have to loop forward. We can break from here. So I'll write break. Okay. Otherwise, the value is false since all the values of A is initialized with false, right? So this is the logic, and towards the end, what we can do is basically, I'm not sure about the indentation here, but towards the end, we can go ahead and return the value of A0. Okay, so that's about the program. Just one more suggestion over here. We don't really have to use this array A. We can do the same thing without array A. I leave that up to you to go ahead and see how this array A without array A will be able to come to a conclusion whether from A0 will be able to reach to the final index. For now, that's all for now. Thank you very much.